32 things Jerk said in another language, according to Reddit. For clarification, the question being asked here is multilingual people of Reddit. What's something someone said in another language that they didn't think you could understand? Number 32. I, an African-American teenager, went to a Chinese restaurant, and immediately the lady behind the counter looks up and back at her husband and shouts in Mandarin, "One ape in the door. Go serve it." There. It took me a minute to realize I hadn't translated that incorrectly. When the husband asked what I wanted, I responded in Chinese, "This ape doesn't want to give any money to your establishment," and left. I won't ever forget the look of terror, shock, and stupidity that left. Bing bong, you know what I'm talking about? Oh my god. Racism. Number 31. I'm Austrian. We speak German. But I grew up bilingual. Me and my friend used to play this game where we would chat with Austrian guys in a bar, pretending to be Americans on a trip through Europe. Sometimes it was hilarious. We usually convinced them that we didn't speak a word of German, and when they grew comfortable, they'd usually start talking about us, who was hotter, whether or not we'd be up to a night of fun. Some guys talked about their girlfriends, wondering if they'd get away with screwing an American they'd never see again. Others were worried we'd be too much for them to handle. Winky face. It was genuinely funny most of the time. The best one was when I asked a guy something in German and he responded with, "Ich glaube du bist Österreicherin." Österreicherin. Fuck me. It started off alright. Which is equivalent to, "I think you're Austrian." It took everything I had not to start laughing. I think he bought it after my non-reaction, though. That's pretty funny. Number 30. Family owned a business on a beach right outside of a French town. None of us spoke French, but a great friend of mine was French and came to work with us for years. One of the local townspeople came up to order fries to go with their child and walked into the candy toy store part where my buddy was working. The kid asked for a toy in English, and the parents responded in French, "No, these are bad people. They take jobs from the community and won't hire locals." My buddy interrupted her and said that no, that my family was great people, and he did not appreciate her telling her kid flat out lies. All in perfect French. Woman turned beet red and walked outside for her food. My buddy told my dad what happened, and before he got her food ready, he grabbed the stack of tapes we had found. He grabbed the stack of tapes we had from local kids we hired stealing from us and even breaking in overnight. My dad offered her the tapes so she could be queen gossip of the town. He never would have gave them to her, and explained very nicely how we had to bid on the business and have a business plan, and that there was 5 offers, 4 from the city and only 1 from the town, who only offered $12,000 for the building, equipment, and 3 acres of property it sits on. She was kind of shocked at how it all worked. We gave her the fries for free for the hassle of listening to us, but apparently she told the story, and we started getting local business for the first time in over a decade. Well, that's how you handle something like that, baby. Just a bucket of bing bong. Number 29. At a hot spring in Colorado, after a long, relaxed soak, I was walking towards the exit with all of my belongings in my arms when a big yawn took over me. The woman in the closet spring exclaimed, "You should really cover your mouth next time. I thought you were going to eat me," in Polish, without hesitation. I turned to her and said, Nigga, if you're listening to this says PRZEPRASZAM, Przepraszam, which is "I'm sorry" in Polish. And she laughed so hard out of embarrassment that we could hear her all the way to the parking lot. An embarrassed laugh, y'all. That's what's up. I'm just shocked that this is a goddamn word. Okay, 28. Two English teens on holiday in France started calling people wankers, cunts, and many other interesting words. I asked them to start respecting people, and they turned red. In Prague, I asked a lady something in English, and her English was too poor for her to understand. In Prague, I asked a lady something in English, and her English was too poor for her to understand. What the fuck are you talking about? Should I waste more brain cells on this? I cannot speak Russian, but have learned a bit of it, and Czech is pretty close. Her gran was with her, and the lady I was talking to said I was an idiot asking stupid questions, so I said in rough Russian, "I'm not an idiot, I'm sorry I cannot speak Czech." She went red too. In Catalonia, on a market, a seller spotted us as tourists immediately and tried to sell us dried sausages more expensive than the Catalan person before. I told him in Catalan that it is not fair to ask us French people to pay more. Bing bong. Fuck me. These better get better as I get up top, or I'll just end this video now and start at a higher number. Oh, God freaking damn. I'm not saying that these are bad. I'm just saying, you know, you want them all to be freaking juicy. So this cop was all like, "I'm gonna kill this nigger." And then I was like, "What? I speak English." And he's like, "Oh, I was just saying, you know, I'm gonna pull this trigger." And then you go, "Oh, that's okay then, pulling the trigger." Yeah, because you're cops. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Come on, it's just a little bit of cop, Ayuba. What's the big deal? What is the big deal, guys? Number 27. I was on a subway car in Toronto when a French couple were chatting about innocuous crap. When the husband starts chatting to his wife about what he wants to do to her, it's graphic. He's going into details about moves, holes, smells. She had a toque in her hand, but unwillingly dropped it, so I saw my chance. I pick up her hat and tell her that she lost it. Both of their faces went white. She just meekly thanked me. I stood up, got off the subway, and felt a sense of glee at having ruined their evening. Oh yes, this is the first of the good comments. "You dropped this, ma'am?" "Oh shit, he can understand us. Why is Kyle giving us an accent when it is implied that we were speaking in English?" Oh wait, no. When a French couple in Toronto. I don't fucking know. It just shows you how engaged I am in this list, you know what I mean? Number 26. So I'm an American, living in the United States, fluent English. I did take Spanish in high school, and while I didn't really retain much, I can still take a pretty decent gander if I want to. I work in a landscape supply store, and most of my customers happen to be Hispanic. Ay, 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 you know? Sometimes they will talk to each other in Spanish while buying materials, and I can kind of get the gist of what they're saying. One time, two guys came in and started discussing what materials they are getting and how much. By the time they came up to me, I had already rung them up for what they had been talking about getting. They were really surprised that I understood them and tried talking to me in Spanish. I had to tell them that my Spanish was limited, so they tried teaching me a few new words while they finished their transaction. It was a nice time. What a happy-go-lucky entry to this bing-bong-ass list. Number 25. Was walking with my Polish friend, and all of a sudden we see this gorgeous girl walking through the hallway. I say to my friend, "Wow, she's beautiful," in Polish to my friend, and the girl turns around and responds with "thank you" in Polish. Oh, plot twist, this was Poland. Oh, in Poland, wow. Number 24. I've got one. I'm a white American. Oh, yeah. Downvote. I'm kidding. I'm a white American. That's good. That's pretty funny, Kyle. I enjoy that joke out of you, Kyle. Oh, you do? You enjoy that, huh? You know, you can catch my stand-up special. I'm kidding. Anyway, I speak Spanish almost fluently. Wow, you know. Is this turning into an I'm very smart post? So I used to work in retail at the local shopping mall, and I noticed this couple and their grown daughter shopping in my section. The parents didn't speak English, and their daughter was acting as their interpreter in the store. So after a while of them being on my radar, I noticed that the daughter was gone. And from the way the parents were talking, I gathered that she'd gone to the bathroom. The wife was looking at sweaters and couldn't decide between the green one or the white one, and the husband was ready to leave but wanted to wait on the daughter to do the transaction at the cash register. He was looking pretty impatient, so I went over and told them in Spanish that I spoke Spanish and could help them if they needed it. I then helped the wife pick out a sweater, took them to the register, and conducted the entire transaction in Spanish. They were extremely grateful and really friendly people. The daughter finally returned and tried to apologize, but I told her everything was fine. They left, and my manager came over and said she'd seen what I'd done. Very surprised, I said, "I told you I spoke Spanish when I was hired. Did you not believe me?" And she said, "No, I thought you were lying to get the job." We laughed, and I went back to folding sweaters. And I went back to folding sweaters. Just booba dooba. What is all of this noise outside? Fucking F-nicks. I'm kidding. I am so kidding. I can't wait to get in trouble for like shit that I'm trying to get myself in trouble for. You know, pretty funny stuff. Number 23, guys. How are you guys feeling, you know? Are you feeling out of it? Be honest with yourself. Are you feeling out of it? Are you one of these people that feels on top of the world? Like you can just tackle anything right now? Is that what's up? Do you want to just be left alone? Are you living a life where you're just like, God, I'm so fucking tired. All these pussy ass people that need help with fucking nothing that they're not willing to do on their own. It's somehow my fucking obligation to deal with this shit. Number 23. We did this, but fortunately, it wasn't mean. My husband is an American born and raised, but grew up speaking German with his family. He wanted our kids to be bilingual, so speaks only German with them. My kids and I were at reading sometimes is so stupid and like lame. God, I need to develop a skill that I don't have right now because whatever. I could be doing something right now, but I'm kidding. I'm doing this. Oh my God, Kyle. My kids and I were at Chincoteague. I don't know how to pronounce that other than to say it like it's read. Chincoteague Island in Virgin, where a lot of Amish people like to vacation. What? God, sounds awful. We were in line at an ice cream parlor behind a group of about 20 Amish. Look, nigga, I need to spice this bullshit ass list up. Not that I'm saying it's a bad list, but this is boring me, okay? I'm not saying that it's boring in general. I'm just saying it's boring as hell. So let's talk about wherever the fuck Chincoteague is. You know what I'm talking about? Because if it's an Amish destination, it's somewhere that we need to go, because it doesn't sound like the type of person that unless we heard about it in some list on Reddit, we would ever in our lives decide we need to go. A popular Amish destination? Oh, that sounds awful. That sounds awful. When the Amish have deemed a place boring enough to be a destination for them to go check out, you know what I mean? You looking up the picture, all you see is pictures of ponies and horses? What's really going on? Picture of a beach and a whole bunch of shells on that bitch? This is a location. This is a hotspot. You know what I'm talking about? Here you go. Come. We are part of the tourist board. Look, I represent the tourist board of Chincoteague Island. You know, we're getting some really weird search results when we Google our town on the internet. Did you put some shells on a beach and take a picture of that? Get me the fuck out of here. My kids and I were at Chincoteague Island in Virginia. You didn't read that the first time. Well, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's in Virginia. I'm kidding. Where a lot of Amish people like to vacation. We were in line at an ice cream parlor behind a group of about 20 Amish, including 7 to 18 girls. This better be relevant. My daughter is used to speaking German to me as if it's a secret code and said, "Look at what they're wearing, those dresses and bonnets, and look at their hair, so thick and shiny. They all look so pretty." The girls turned en masse, looked at her in surprise, which in turn surprised her, and I told her, "They clearly understood everything you just said." She looked embarrassed, then shrugged and answered that she didn't say anything she wouldn't have said to their faces. It was still a new experience for her. Adorably. Number 22. You know, am I louder than the music? Let's make sure that I am. I think I am. In a way, I think I'm like scores louder than the music. Let's hope that my voice isn't unbalanced for this recording. Number 22. This actually just happened a couple of days ago. I'm an American traveling abroad in the Middle East. A brave motherfucker. And went on a date with an Arab guy. And she's a woman. Super fucking brave. dude, this bitch could be just abducted and raped in an instant. Not that I'm saying everywhere in the Middle East is awful. If you're Middle Eastern and you're listening to this, you know, leave a comment in the comment section below. I'm kidding. I'm not here to trigger you, but I'm just saying, you know, I'm not saying it's super dangerous everywhere. I'm saying shit could happen. You know what I'm talking about? Like, dude, I feel weird about traveling, and I'm a man. I'm a fat man. You know what I'm talking about? Not implying that I'm super great at defending myself, you know. There are a lot of tools out there that allow for great equalization when it comes to combat. I'm saying, like, I consider myself one of the more undesirable types of dudes when you look at him. You know what I mean? You can look at me and you go, okay, he doesn't have money from the looks, you know what I mean? And you look and you go, okay, he's not exactly the type that you'd want to sell into the slave trade. He's not rapeable. He doesn't look like good stock. You know, he got those genes in him that make him good lifting a lot of, and pulling that cotton out of the field, and you know what I'm talking about? I'm kidding. That's rude. That's rude. But hey, don't forget your history, man. They were trying to breed slaves back in the day. Just like you would breed dogs down from jackals and wolves. Pretty fucking crazy stuff. What is Kyle talking about? The list. This actually happened a couple of days ago, says number 22, as if number 22 were itself a user on Reddit and is now commenting, wow, I'm an American traveling abroad in the Middle East and went on a date with an Arab guy. He asked me if I spoke Arabic. Hey guys, you know what I just realized? I made an assumption about the gender of this person based on the fact that they said that they were going on a date with a guy. It's 2017, Kyle. It could have been a guy dating another guy having butt sex in the Middle East. Butt sex. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure if I'm boring myself here. These are podcasts. So if you're one of the people listening to these lists expecting it to just follow the format of some asshole reading some dumb lists, you shouldn't be here by now, because this isn't the first hour-long video I've ever recorded. Do you know what I'm saying? And I can't think of one time that I stuck to the fucking, you know, I got through the list, essentially. I get through the list all the time, but they're not something that happens in a quick fashion. Like, I'm resisting the urge to call somebody up on Skype just to break up the monotony of what would be a typical list. I hate falling into that cookie cutter ass mold of maybe doing something that everybody else is doing. I'm an American traveling abroad in the Middle East and went on a date with an Arab guy. Does that make you want to assume my gender? KL, did you just assume my gender? He asked if I spoke Arabic, but since I'm not comfortable speaking it, I just said no. I can understand most things though, and I can speak if pressed. Dinner was great. We get along well. And then went to smoke shisha at a local cafe. The owner, who's my date's buddy, asked who I was in Arabic. He smiled at me sweetly, squeezed my hand, and told his friend in Arabic, an American whore who I'm going to fuck later. I kept a stupid, docile smile on my face. When the owner took my order, I told him in Arabic, and 1 tea for the American whore who will not fuck later. The look on both of their faces was priceless. Needless to say, I ended up taking a cab home. Yeah, right, she probably fucked that guy. Again, it's all about how they look, and if the Arab guy was good enough for her to bang, then she doesn't care what he says. I bet taking a cab home in this instance is like a sexual move, you know what I mean? We'll just flip Hannah over and have her take a cab home, you know what I'm talking about? I was like pelvic thrusting when I said that. Just kidding. If you're triggered by that comment, leave a comment in the comment section. I guess it is my job to trigger people. I'm just so bored. I'm sorry. Forgive me because I'm bored. I'm bored right now. What do you want? Give me a second. I actually just got a text message. Okay, number 21. Number 21. I speak Turkish. We visit Turkey every summer to see my family, but I don't look Turkish. Oh. So people are often shocked when they find out I can speak the language. Last year, I went to the markets. In most touristy places, the stall holders will try to sell things at a higher price to foreigners. So I'm looking for some jewelry. Jewelry. God damn it, Kyle. So I'm looking at some jewelry. It's a pretty gay name. I mean, word. Why is it giving me such a problem? So I'm looking at some jewelry. That's fine. In this market, the two stall holders are chatting to a customer. They mention to the customer that everything is 10 lira. After the customer leaves, the stall holder looks at me at what I'm trying to buy or about to buy and tells me in broken English that it's 20 lira. I nod, realizing what's going on, and spend a few more minutes looking at everything before telling the stall holder in perfect Turkish, you should really figure out whether someone knows the language before trying to scam them. The look on their face was great. I'm beginning to realize that this list is going to continue the way that it started. They're not bad anecdotes. I'm just saying, you know, I could make one right now. So I went down to the McDonald's and there's nothing but freaking Hispanics in there. And they say, get a load of this guy and his clown shoes because I got big feet. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just kidding. They're size 13s. It's not like something that would be so ridiculous that would make somebody actually. It's just a joke. It's just a little fake little waka waka type thing I'm doing here. Just bear with me. So I walk in there and these Spanish people are like, get a load of this guy's shoes. And then I go, hey, chupa mi pinga, right? And then the looks on their faces. You know what I mean? That's what you gotta say. The looks on their faces. Like if you could see the look if you could see the look on my face when I'm saying the looks on their face, the looks on their, that's enough. Jeez, man, 20 more of these. Number 20. When I lived in China, I went on an international school. Just make up your own fucking stories, Kyle. When I lived in China, I went to an international school, so I would frequently use English with my classmates even though I spoke and understood Chinese. One day, I was walking with a classmate when I overheard these old Chinese ladies talking about how it was obvious we were American because we were so fat. We were both average sized, neither fat nor thin. My friend, well, to be honest, average American size is Asian fat. You guys should know that. My friend doesn't understand Chinese, so I decided to ignore it since we were just passing by. Later, we were at the fruit stand, and the ladies came around looking to buy fruit. I'm standing in front of whatever they were trying to look at, and anytime they tried to move around me, I'd shift subtly so they couldn't. I hear one of them start huffing about how she can't get by, and in Chinese I respond, I'd move, but as a fat American, it'd do no good. The ladies just looked at me and then started laughing and were like, oh, the fat American has good Chinese. That's fucked up. Somebody said, dude, if there's anything I've learned in my life, it's that old Chinese ladies give zero fucks. I feel bad for old Chinese ladies' kids, dude. Old Chinese ladies seem like the type of motherfucker that would say some really ignorant shit and then stand by it and want to crack you in the mouth for saying some shit otherwise. Yeah, you stupid. What you gonna do about it? Don't forget to turn off fan or you fucking die in the night. You want to fucking die? Sorry, that's not funny. Kyle, come on. Number 19. I'm Brazilian, but extremely white. Okay. I do not like an American. Whoa. Okay. I'm Brazilian, but extremely white, and I do look like an American when traveling abroad. I speak Portuguese, English, and Spanish, and I understand some French. The most memorable moment of understanding what people are saying when they believe you don't happened to me in Portland, Oregon, when I lived there. With all that rain, I've become even more white, and I was wearing my Pittsburgh Steelers cap. There were these two Brazilian girls speaking Portuguese in front of me in a line of a Blazers game, and they were being extremely rude to everyone, saying that everyone in America was fat, ugly, and being outrageously full of themselves. So one of them looked at me and said to the other one, "Bom es aqui, não é gordo, nem feio, mas aposto que se acha como esse boné." Jesus. You didn't need to write all. Well, this one is not fat or ugly, but probably is full of himself with this cap. I just replied, Obrigado pelos elogios. He sido dado como que vocas o voces falam. Thank you for your compliments and watch what you're saying. They apologized and got out of the line. That happened. Liar. Number 18. Canadian with an English group of... Something was in my beard, but there was nothing in there. Maybe I'm just getting really hot. Ugh. Number 18. Canadian with an English group in a very French town in northern Quebec. Sorry, I just hit the damn microphone. I'm gonna explode in here. I'm gonna go Super Saiyan in here. Waitress shit talked us being Anglophones the whole night to her co-workers and bartender. She was doing it fairly loudly, which I found weird in a bilingual country. When she came around with the bills, I put on my best Quebecois accent and said in French, I hope you aren't expecting a tip from these stupid English people, because you sure as hell aren't getting one, and told the group we were leaving. She chased us out of the restaurant screaming at us in French. I flipped her off, and we left. Well, fuck the bitch. Yeah, I'm talking about 17. Wasn't me, but my dad. We, as good Canadians do. Damn, there's a lot of Canadian racism stories in here. People assuming that, you know, they don't speak the other one. Because, you know, it's French as fuck in Canadian. Frenchy foo-foo. We, as good Canadians do, went on a ski vacation to Quebec. While my dad was parking his car, a tour bus backed into our van. After seeing the damage, my dad marches onto his tour bus and starts talking with the driver. The driver apologizes profusely to my enraged dad, but when my dad asks for his name, employee number, and insurance information, he starts pretending that he doesn't understand English. My dad is fluent in French, so without skipping a beat, he continues questioning the driver en français. The driver was super shaken up by this turn of events, and his face turned red, and he surrenders his information in the end. In the end, oh, baguette. It starts with baguette. Number 16. Happened to me, actually. Really funny in hindsight. I was in Poland for a holiday with two friends. We went outside to a bar. Oh no. I accidentally tapped the home screen wrong. Damn it. I'll never do this again. I apologize. It's... Oh my god. Jeez. I was in Poland for a holiday with two friends. We went outside a bar to smoke and said to my friend in Dutch, "Those girls over there are really hot. Should we ask them to join us?" One of the girls turns around and said in almost perfect Dutch, "You won't find out if you don't ask." I think they meant Q. Cue my friends laughing and me standing there flabbergasted. Yeah, that's not the cue you're looking for. Anyway. Number 15. Ugh. I was at a party a couple of years ago, and there were these two really good-looking Asian girls. I started chatting one of them up, and we seemed to be having a good time. Anyway, the party keeps going, and we split momentarily. I grabbed myself a beer, and her friend came over to talk. I hear them speaking in Korean, and the one I was talking to was explaining how she thought I was really cute. Her friend starts talking in Korean, and she says, "That's not a good idea. Don't go after him. He's not that good looking. He just wants to sleep with you, blah, blah, blah." The usual, you know, protecting your friends line, which I have no problems with, minus the good looking part. Now at this point, I'm okay with that, and I just try to enjoy the party. However, later on, I overhear the same girl again speaking in Korean, how much of a lowlife I am, and how I'm a horrible person with some added vulgar swear words. Remember, this person has never met me before today. She was basically describing me as if I was the enemy of all women, how I live in poverty, and trying to label me with as many negatives she could think of. Some bitches just bitches, you know what I'm talking about? Some hate ass bitches gonna hate. You hate ass, sorry ass bitch ain't got nothing going on, just raggedy, miserable bitch looking. Oh, look at your toenails, look at ass bitch. I'm sorry. Obviously, the girl I was talking to is listening to her friend and is clearly no longer looking at me with interest. Before leaving the party, I go over to them and I try asking for her number, just for sitch, which she politely refuses to. I turn to her friend and speak in perfect Korean. Thanks so much for telling your friend about me. It was really nice getting to know you, and I'm glad you know so much about me, even though we've never met before. The look on their face was worth not getting laid, I think. In very small letters, I think. Oh boy. Somebody else said, I have a somewhat similar experience. This happened in Korea 3 days ago. I'm a Filipino who looks very much Korean. I was in Petite, France, where 2 Filipino girls mistook me for Korean. They asked me if I can take their picture and take a selfie with them. I was listening to them talking about how good looking I am. Oh, so good looking. I couldn't help it that I let out a chuckle. They stared at me as if wondering if I understood them. I spoke in our language, that I'm also Filipino, and they totally understood everything they said. We just laughed about it, and now I have 2 new friends. Good for you. Some of us will never have any friends because we're shut-ins. It starts with going outside. Not gonna happen, brah. Not going outside, brah. Number 14. I speak Dari. Speak Dari, okay. One of the 2 official languages of Afghanistan. On a trip, I overheard 2 Afghans. One was telling the other to be careful. Detroit was more dangerous than Kabul. What the fuck? Somebody said that awkward moment when people living in the Middle East even know about fucking Detroit. Detroit, nigga. Oh no. Number 13. Okay. I'm not the multilingual in this story, but my friend's mom is from Vietnam. But her dad is from the States and is white. For whatever reason, friends looks like a typical white brunette girl, but speaks Vietnamese. And her mom's side of the family all of the time and is fluent. So one day we get off school, we went to a Catholic high school and walked over to a nail salon a few blocks away to get our nails done. The ladies running the salon were speaking Vietnamese, and according to my friend, were talking shit on us the entire time we were there. They were talking about how rich we must be and how these little white girls can probably sleep with whoever they want and get ahead. I was completely oblivious to this the entire time, but as we were about to pay, my friend told me all the terrible things they were saying, so we didn't tip them. We started to leave, and one of the workers said something about how the rich white girl couldn't even afford to tip, and my friend turned around and yelled at them in perfect Vietnamese about how if they expect their business to stay open, they shouldn't talk boldly about their customers in front of their face. I didn't understand a word of it, but the workers were in utter shock and sheepishly apologized to the both of us. Too long didn't read. The ladies at the nail salon are definitely talking shit about you in front of your face. A bing bong. You know what we should do? Hey guys, if you're girls, Kyle, well done. You know, and the award for hilarious things that you say goes to. Hey guys, if you're girls, okay, go into a nail salon and just start recording what they're saying. You know, it's a victimless crime. How are they gonna know? You just pull out the thing to record. You're going in, you're getting your manicure, your pedicure by all these ethnics, you know what I'm talking about? Just hit record, okay? And if you're lucky, when later you take that shit in, you know what I mean? You take it, you put it online, get some software, or maybe even a person to translate that shit. Maybe they said some incriminating shit that you can just you just put on the internet for them viral points there. Holy bing bong. What? Hey guys, if you're girls. Number 12, I was touring some of the old dungeons in Germany. It was just me and my family, an older German couple. They were kind of dissing my country the whole time, thinking we couldn't understand them. We got to a room where they locked people where they locked people by their feet, and the German man said to his wife and the tour guide in German, "This is where you should go if you can't speak German." I turned to him in perfect German and said, "Then it's a good thing I can speak German." The look on his face was priceless. Okay, if you could see the look on his, Jesus Christ, man, the look on their face, the look. That's the look. That's the look. The look of law. That's the look. That's the look. I wonder if Perla's busy. She may not be home. Isn't that interesting? Well, if Stripes isn't available, then I'll have to finish this list by myself. What a world. What a world. Or maybe she's playing a competitive match in Overwatch. Wouldn't want to interrupt that. So, oh, she's calling back. God, like I have time for this right now. Hello, Poila.
Hi, sorry.
You were sleeping.
So?
Oh my God, it's like 9 p.m. for me, making it 8 p.m. for you.
I'm sorry,
Don't be sorry, it's fine. I was calling you to spice up a list, if you're down.
Sure.
You don't have to do anything but listen, okay? The topic of the list is multilinguals of Reddit. What is your "they didn't know I could understand their language" story? It hasn't been as good as you think. There have been a couple of good ones, but you know, I started at 30 to try and make it lengthy. But now we're coming in, you know, on the home stretch. So here's number 11, okay? I'm an American, but my dad and his family are from Switzerland. So I've had to learn some languages other than English if I want to keep up with my grandparents and cousins in conversation. I've got pretty poor with my French, but good enough that I can still listen in on other people's conversations. But I was never expecting to be able to use this skill or surprise anybody's secret conversation since I live in Texas. But lo and behold, one day I was out shopping with a couple of friends. One who also speaks French and German. I'm disabled. I'm sorry. I said it like...
It sounds like
I said it like Roy in the episode of the IT Crowd. I'm disabled. Sorry. Wow, my brain immediately put that on. That's scary.
Wait, you mean you didn't do that on purpose?
I did, but my brain like kind of beat me to it. You know what I mean? Sometimes my brain beats me to stuff. I sound like Carl Pilkington now, like my brain beats me to stuff. But like it's so quick at like getting something out in a funnier way that like I can laugh at it and genuinely be surprised because the joke comes so fast. Woo! I'm disabled. It's not funny. It's almost like we're laughing at the being disabled shit now. I'm sorry. You know, this is the first one. I can't even read it properly. Part of me called you to keep myself on track because, man, I'm like, I'm ADDing out really bad. I'm disabled. That's not funny. No, it's not. I'm disabled from an accident that deformed my left leg. That sucks. It's pretty obvious, and people do tend to stare, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go around covered up in pants all the time. It's too damn hot here. At lunch, we overheard a mom talking with her son at the table next to us. The boy was about 7 or 8 years old and was totally fixated on the leg and the brace that I wear. Just typical kid curiosity, and I was probably one of the few disabled people he'd seen. The little boy was asking his mom what happened, why that girl's leg is all messed up, why does she have to wear that brace? The mom then starts talking shit about Americans and tells the boy I probably lost it in a war while killing a bunch of helpless people. She then goes on about how Americans are unhealthy, dumb, and they should stay out of other people's business. My friend had gotten up to go to the restroom and came back and just casually asked her how the meal was in French. I answered her back, and the mom looked mortified as it dawned on her that I had heard the whole conversation. I wasn't rude, but I did take the opportunity to tell the boy, who was legitimately concerned. I explained that I was injured in an accident, but I'd be okay. So I got to surprise someone being a jerk. It's very interesting that she used the word jerk. And got to show a little boy that disabled people are just regular people, so win-win. Now, like I previously explained to you, this list is about people who basically caught somebody else saying some bullshit when they thought other people couldn't understand. Some of them have been lighthearted and cute. Like there was one earlier about like two girls that would go out dating and you know, not dating, but go to like a bar and pretend that they didn't understand the other people's native languages so that they would talk about them literally in front of them. You know what I mean? And be like, oh, this one's hotter or something like that. Oh, you think we will make it with this chick and stuff like that, even though they could understand them. Stripes? You're probably still sleepy.
What are you setting up here? Why was there like a long pause? Like there's supposed to be something that surprised me.
Look, I was just saying it's interesting that they used the term jerk because the name of the list that I made was 32 things jerk said in another language.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because that's a long-ass title. Multilinguals of Reddit. What is your they didn't know I could speak their language story? How would you condense that, Stripes? How would you condense that?
Well, I remember you used to add, according to Reddit, to some of the end of the list, but they don't fit anymore.
What do you mean? I never added according to Reddit to the end of the lists.
Yeah, you did. At least for two of them.
No.
I could say that. I've been watching them today.
No. I think you mean I would add from Reddit to the actual title of the video, not in the thumbnail, and I would always only say according to Reddit.
I meant, yeah, in the title you would add.
God, you're sleepy, Stripes. Just go back to sleepy.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine. It wasn't an order, Stripes. Are you just doing Stripes shtick? Where you're making it seem like I'm being... Were you playing with that dog all day?
No, just like 2 hours.
And did you actually leave the house? I mean, the room?
What do you mean?
You left the room.
I'd leave the room if you're not gonna call me.
Okay. I'm sorry. You left the room? Because I didn't call you.
That's what happens. I get lonely. I'm sorry.
Oh, Stripes. Ugh. It's not my fault. I was doing stuff today. I do stuff a lot of days.
I know. And here's me trying to entertain myself with a tiny little dog. I'm sorry I sent you a video.
No, it's not. I'm not mad that you sent the video. I was just like, I've never seen Wherever You Are. Ugh. You're so depressing, Stripes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 10. Number 10. Not me, my grandpa. And I apologize if this is among one of the more morbid stories in the thread. Yeah. My grandparents were Romulan. I'm sorry. If anybody's a Star Trek fan, that's what's up. Oh boy, I know what that word is, and it's not Romulan. My grandparents were Romanian Jews. Man, this is probably going to be really bad.
Romanian Jews.
And I started it with some kind of bullshit joke. Okay, we got to get the jokes out because he already said this is going to be bad. Number 10. Oh man, it should have just been a top 10 list because you know this is going to be good. Number 10. Not me, my grandpa. My grandparents were Romanian Jews living in Europe during World War II. Post-war, they fled to America via Italy and lived in Italy for several years. Now they largely spoke Romanian, but my grandpa could understand Italian as well. My grandma had a variety of serious health issues throughout her life, and at that point, they were probably in their 20s. She had to be taken to an Italian doctor. Thinking they spoke only Romanian, the doctor told the nurse about my grandma. She's a Jew. Let her die.
Oh?
My grandpa understood this and was able to seek out a more underground doctor to save my grandma's life. She lived into her 80s. That could have been scary.
She's a Jew.
Somebody else said, wow, fuck that guy. Like, this kind of racism doesn't exist right now. You want to know what the first one I read on this list, Stripes? Remember I did 32? Let me read the first one for you. Number 32. I'm an Austrian. No, wait, that's not 32. Okay, I can just summarize number 32. Black guy walks into a Chinese restaurant and the lady behind the counter goes, "One ape, go figure out what it wants," right?
Ugh.
And then the black guy gets up there and he's like saying, you know, this ape doesn't want to give money to your establishment or whatever. And then the look on their face, I'm kidding, but a lot of them have said the look on their face at the end of it. But hey, that racism is alive today, baby. Honest to God. Just because people aren't saying it out loud doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Bing bong. It's a scary world out there. And because, you know, people like this who are insensitive and stupid and not vaccinating their kids are having children, you know, the scary part is they could grow them up in those ridiculous doctrines and then they could proceed to have kids and keep this kind of stupidity in the gene pool. Not that I'm a harsh guy and wants anybody to die, but it'd be so nice if the people who, you know, believe certain things would just die out and then we could have some sort of utopia, you know what I'm talking about? But whatever. Number 9. I
think you want some kind of Orwellian future.
I want some kind of Narwhalian future with narwhals all over the place. How cool would that be? Number 9. I speak fluent Hungarian, and the thing about the language is it's so obscure that Hungarians will always assume when abroad that no one else can understand them. As you can imagine, this can backfire spectacularly. I grew up in the USA, and I've heard marital spats at Walmart that frankly never should have left the bedroom or the living room. I think my brain corrected it to bedroom because that's where it makes sense. Who's having marital spats in the living room? You're married without kids, and then I guess you can argue wherever. Perfect. I don't know. Serious goodbyes between lovers that were awkward to hear. All sorts of things like that at Walmart. I love it. The best story in this genre is my mother's, when she and my dad were enjoying the first Christmas together. Their first Christmas together. They were in a small village in Austria in the early 80s, and for Christmas Eve, when they went out to dinner, there was a man in the restaurant with a dog sitting at a table, like a guy putting food on the plate in front of his dog, the dog eating it, etc. My mom proceeded to spend a lot of time telling my dad how disgusting and unsanitary this was of the guy to do, and when the guy and the dog finished their meal, he just went up to the parents' table and said, "Kelemes karesoni un paket kivanok," and left. In Hungarian, this is the polite way of telling a stranger you wish them a Merry Christmas.
Oh.
She needs to stay the fuck up out of other people's business, because the scary part is that could be a service dog. There's a lot of freaky and weird shit going on in the world, and you know, a person just having a genuine meal at a restaurant with an animal is ridiculous, and like, yeah, it's unsanitary in ways, but what if that was like his service dog or something, you know? I don't know. What if like that dog was the only person that made it out of the war with this dude? Maybe he's alive because of that animal or something like that. Dog deserves a little bit of monkeys. He's a good boy. What?
Why is it that you're not supposed to touch a service dog while they're at work?
Because fuck you. This dog's not here for you.
I know that.
Because dogs are capable of learning things. Dogs are capable of understanding a few things, but at the end of the day, they're fucking animals. Do you understand, Stripes? So certain animals you can teach to do things through Pavlovian conditioning. Hey, go pick that up. Dog's like, what? And I'm like, pick that up. And he's like, huh? And I'm like, and I hit the dog. I'm like, you stupid bitch, pick that up. And then it brings the thing to me, right? And then I go, pick that up. And he goes, okay, he brings the thing to me. Now I start giving him treats. Pick that up. And he comes over and maybe he's expecting a treat. You know what I mean? I can teach him, I'll do a whole bunch of shit, you know, by affirming his actions with negative and positive reinforcement. Now, it's still an animal at the end of the day. And under the right circumstances, an animal may or may not feel cornered and just go nuts, you know? And I don't want to say that dogs, just like people, can enter into a trance, and if startled out of that trance, they can go nuts. You know what I mean? You know that I have training, right? So what you don't want to do is, like, if I'm sleeping, rouse me out of that sleep abruptly and frighten me in a way where, like, I feel like I'm in danger. You know what I mean? Sometimes coming out of sleep is no different than coming out of a trance, which I would liken to what some animals are capable of. I'm not saying that all service animals, when they are busy doing what they're doing because they're taking care of this person, they've been trained to do this thing. I like to think that those animals are probably always alert. I can't speak because I have no idea what's going on with a service animal. I don't know anything about them. I haven't read about them. I haven't watched any documentaries. But if I had to guess as to why you shouldn't touch an animal that's a service animal, I would imagine it's because this animal already has a task. And think of it like a robot, you know what I mean, that you can short circuit or make, you know, establish an error by giving it too many tasks that it can't handle. Like this animal is designed to do this thing, okay? And like, yeah, I mean, somebody else touching it ain't the end of the world, but it's not about you touching it, okay? Like, it has its own list of shit that it needs to do.
You're gonna overstimulate it.
Yeah, like I said, obviously different things in different scenarios, but this dog has a job, and in many cases, unless you're told it's okay to do this, why the fuck you need to be touching this damn dog? This ain't like a normal ass, like, just sit around and eat and then shit and let's go for walkies type dog. This is a dog that was trained with a task and a thing that it needs to do. And in many cases, you know, like, I would imagine it stresses the fucking animal the fuck out. You know what I mean? So you touching... What?
I'm starting to feel sorry I asked.
What? Because I'm not trying to beat you over the head with it. I'm just trying to get inside, you know, like, why it would be likely that you can't touch a service animal. And that's the spin that I would imagine. It's like, yo, this dog could have more on its plate than you fucking do. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
it just makes me, like, now I'm trying really hard to think if, really hard to remember if I've startled you awake and you've ended up hurting me before.
I've never hurt you before, and you've never startled me out of my sleep. I'm just saying, as like a, you know, analogy, like it's something that could happen. And like the coming out of a trance would be much the same. But at the same time, like I said, a dog can be taught to do certain things. I don't think of a dog as being so capable of comprehension, you know what I mean? That it can, you know, pick up a tool and then just, you know, I need to build a fire. You know what I'm talking about? Like, a dog isn't a fucking man at the end of the day. So I like to think that just like people get shook up to the point where they can't take the pressure and they break, you know what I mean? Say your limit is 10 tasks a day, right? And like one day they try to give you 13. They've pushed you past your limit. And now something's got to give, so to speak, okay? So let's think of a dog as really only being capable of 2 tasks, okay? Let's say that the dog is having a bad day. So these 2 tasks that it's trained to deal with is almost like 4 tasks for the dog. You put your hand on that dog, that's the 5th task, and this nigga has a right to blow up on your ass. You know what I'm talking about? He ain't built for that. This is not what he's worried about. This is not what's going on in this dog's day. Some animals, because they're animals, just... fucking, you know, they attack because they're animals. Why are we talking about, I call up Stripes and we talking about animals, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Fucking fuck.
I'm sorry.
Number 8. I was in South Africa. Animals. Africa. It says America right there. It says America right there. I was in South America. It's funny because I called you to keep me on the ball and finish this list very quickly. And what kind of time have we been wasting? I'm sure. Number 8. Who's gonna watch this? I love my subscribers because maybe it's
enabling you because I guess I have a set purpose and I'm not being a very good service dog to you.
Well done, Stripes. Well done. I bet you're so proud of that, aren't you? Look at your face.
You can't see me. All I know is I'm a great bitch.
You're a what?
I'm a great bitch.
What does that mean?
Man, just keep reading.
Man, look. Oh, the fucking Stripes, dude. Number 8. I was in South America. I was in South America. and I had made friends with a guy who was living in Paraguay, but was originally from Jordan. Okay, dude. He spoke like 5 different languages. I asked him if he could help me out buying a cell phone. So we were shopping around. We stop at one place with 2 Middle Eastern guys selling cell phones. They say some things in Spanish, then some things in Arabic. And when my friend just says, "Let's go," I asked him what happened. And he said that the guy said something in Arabic along the line of, "Oh, we'll fuck these guys over." To which my friend responded in Arabic, "Is that right? You're gonna fuck us over?" I thought it was really funny. That's funny. Number 7.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised these all have the same setup.
Number 7. I'm Japanese living in Bing Bong land, but I went to college and law school in the States, so I'd like to think that I speak fluent English. It's always pretty funny when foreigners realize I speak English because there are so many bilinguals in Tokyo that you think that they learn by now that talking shit in English isn't going to be as discreet as they think. Anyway, I have 2. One is pretty feel good and the other is the typical talking shit ones. First, when I was drinking in a pretty small town in Niigata Prefecture, it's not known to get many foreign visitors except in the winters when ski snowboard season picks up. But this was in the spring, so I was actually quite surprised when I walk into izakaya and a foreign couple is sitting at one of the tables. I was alone, so they sent me at the counter, or they seat me at the counter, sorry. And I order a couple of yakitori and sake. Is this relevant? So as I was waiting, I could hear the couple behind talking about how none of the things that came were what they ordered and expected, and that it's so difficult since no one seems to speak English. Now, the izakaya we were at was like a hole in the wall, no pictures, and the menu was handwritten in Japanese, so I could understand how difficult it would have been.
I'm sorry.
What was that? The laundry?
That was laundry.
Anyways, I come over, and to their delight, I translate the menu from them and help them with their order. I ended up sitting and drinking with them that night and still message each other on Facebook. Wow. Wow. The second time. You like that? The second. Yeah. The second time isn't the same type of feel-good story. And then you gotta bottom out. Anyways, I'm in a small city outside of the 23rd Ward. Sounds really ominous, huh? Outside of the 23rd Ward, which is a pretty prominent language school, so there are a lot of foreigners in the area. I used to bartend there when I was younger, and one of my coworkers from the time had opened a small barbecue restaurant in the area, so I decided to stop and congratulate him, alright? There was a couple of American guys, probably in their early 20s, just completely trashing the place, saying it's not authentic, and that they did it better in Texas, or whatever the fuck or they were from. So after I had finished talking with my coworker, I turn around and tell the 2 American men that if they wanted authentic barbecue, they should just go back home to America. No one is subjecting you to this restaurant. Yeah. Someone else responds, I love Japan. I was stationed in Atsugi for a few years. Learned some Japanese along the way. When we were first checking in, they give us these little catchphrase cards, these little phrase cards, and you can just carry in your pocket. So one day, I was trying to get past some people on the train to get off and started yelling, Shirimasen? Don't you mean sumimasen? Yeah, instead of sumimasen. Or I don't know, instead of excuse me. I realized that as soon as I actually walked through the door and laughed at myself for quite some time. I just imagine the reverse of that. A Japanese guy fighting through a train car in New York saying, I don't know. It's pretty good. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Please. Please. I don't know. Please.
You know, I know your Spanish isn't great, but I'd like to think you're situationally aware enough to recognize when someone's insulting you in Spanish. Or any language, maybe.
You know, I realized that for you, because you actually try to watch some of my videos sometimes, there are probably lists that you have no idea what I said before I call you. And then, like, I bet you probably, you go, oh yeah, I remember this one. And then there's like this whole part of the list that you haven't heard. It's pretty funny, huh? Not for me. I mean, not for you. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Number 6, okay? Number 6. Not me, but my mom's friend. You call this keeping me on track? I can't do this anymore. Number 6. Not me, but my mom's friend. Her and her aunt were on a bus. Should I just put in like parentheses at the end of this video? I really tried.
No. I think people already know what they're in for.
It's never been this bad. There was a point earlier where I got some text messages and I was like, yes, it's time to respond to these. And I realized only after how ridiculous that was. And I was like, I'll never do it again. I don't know. Instead of I'm sorry. Get it? A very sickly looking woman sat in front of them. Okay? They just started talking about themselves and said something along the lines of, that lady looks like death. She turned around in Polish and said, I have cancer. Oh, shit. Fuck. Holy ping pong. Oh, shit. You should like this one, Stripes. Let's check it out. I'm Mexican, but I studied my college degrees in the U.S. When I was studying abroad in Germany, I only spoke English to my German classmates. 4 months in, one time we were waiting for a train at a station and a group of young South American tourists were being loud and just waiting beside us. I could understand every word they were saying except for some slang, and they suddenly started talking shit about our group. I don't blame them at all. They were just bored at the train station trying to pass time, but I smile and look at them. One of the guys looks back and says in Spanish, "Do you not like what I'm saying, asshole?" I respond in Spanish, "It's been a long time since someone insulted me in my language." The guy has a speechless look on his face, and all his friends look at me. We have a huge laugh, and soon after, the both of our groups sat together and had a nice time talking.
Why would you want anything to do with someone like that? I don't understand it.
Well, when you're young, I guess, you know, you just mix with commoners. Ugh. Like you and I'd be caught dead outside.
Why are you lumping me in with you?
Well, yeah. Forgive me. I was. This is why I was. That's why I was reacting the way you did when you left your room today, and you're all like trying to get sympathy play from everybody. You shut up. Playing the woman card like we don't know that you're a monster. Everybody knows, Stripes, that you only have this human costume on when it suits you. Trying to play some of these people like the accordions they are, you know.
I can't help it.
Be nice to Stripes, and you're all like, yes, be nice to me, and then you hear something like, you know what I mean, coming from the inside of your monster costume, and everybody was like, what was that? And you're just like, oh, it's my gerbil. It's just my gerbil.
It's not a monster costume, Kyle. It has to be convincing.
Number 4. I was waiting in wine. I was waiting in line with my sister to take a boat tour in California, and ahead of us was a group of 5 to 6 German-speaking people. The wait to board the boat was long, and they got to talking. Okay, geez. At first, it was about how nice the weather was, and then in turn, it turned to how annoying Americans can be, especially fat, dumb tourist Americans. They cracked a couple of jokes having to do with American stereotypes. While this was happening, the line started moving and people started boarding the boat. But the group was too wrapped up in their own jokes to realize it, so I finally turned around to them and in fluent German asked if they were part of the tour and if they were getting on the boat. They stopped dead in their joking tracks and said yes, so I replied that if they better get a move on because the dumb fat American tourist standing right behind them wanted to get onto the boat too. They all looked really embarrassed. The look on their faces. Okay, Stripes? The look on their face. Number 3, man.
As you could imagine,
What?
in high school I was extremely unconfrontational and no one knew I could speak Spanish because I wasn't gonna bother.
So this one time?
Oh no, it happened a lot of times. People were talking shit about in front of me, not knowing that I could speak Spanish, and I just took it because I'm a big wimp.
What kind of shit were they talking?
Well, just about me being introverted. Sometimes it'd be called a retard.
How?
Mannish.
Mannish? Because of your stature?
I'm not sure.
They just jealous. That's so interesting. Introverted. It's that, you know what I mean? Like you know I'm a cool motherfucker. So if somebody's gonna insult somebody, they gotta do it right. You know what I mean? How is that even an insult? That's the type of shit that I would make somebody feel like a bitch for.
Well,
even
no,
saying
no,
out
no.
loud.
That's not the insult they use. Obviously, it's just a blanket term.
I mean, they were basically, you know, just being mean because you were not as outspoken or, you know, furious about getting involved in all the conversations and shit like this. Question mark.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. Well,
I don't want anything to do with anyone.
And there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm glad that you didn't associate with that kind of marker bars. Number 3. Working at a front desk with 2 coworkers who are related. They're speaking Spanish and one of them is talking about how she thinks I'm weird and act too professional all the time. She then asks, "Where is the stapler?" in Spanish. I picked up the stapler, and while looking at her, I extend my arm to pass it. She then asks if I speak Spanish and understood the whole conversation. I told her I speak fluent Italian and took Spanish classes in school. Another day, at the mall eating McDonald's when I was a teenager, a bunch of Italian guys hanging out around the food court, and one asks, "How can he eat this shit?" in Italian while looking at me. I look up and stare at him and I say, "Because I'm really hungry," in Italian. All of his buddies started laughing. Somebody said it's interesting how similar Italian and Spanish are. When I visited Rome a few years back, I had a long conversation with my taxi driver in English, Spanish, and Italian. When we couldn't understand one language or find the words, we would switch. It was a crazy experience, but I look back on it fondly. I wish I had someone to fondly. You like that, Stripes?
No, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I like that it's bad, though. I like it that it's bad, though. I like that it's bad, though. Number 2, my grandma could speak Arabic fluently. One time we were out and some women behind us in line are mocking her, calling her tacky, making fun of her bad dye job. She turned around and said in Arabic, "I may be tacky, but at least I'm not stupid enough to assume nobody can understand me." They were so mortified. The look on their faces. "Oh, snap, Grandma. Grandma's going to get the wooden spoon. Grandma's going to get the wooden spoon." Number 1. I speak French, but not completely fluently, although I am French American citizen. At my first girlfriend's house... At my first girlfriend's house for the first time eating dinner with them. We go upstairs afterwards and her little sister, 2 grades below us, comes in and we are selecting a movie to watch. Well, they are Canadian and speak French at home a lot. The girl comes in and starts talking about how I am cute and so forth to her sister, and then the sisters banter back and forth and she agrees and turns to me and asks me in French if I agree. I responded in French that I appreciated it. Cue bashful run up to her room. I lived off that high all year.
Oh, see, that's cute. I like the ones where no one gets hurt.
That's what somebody said. That's cute. Somebody else said omelette du fromage. A Dexter's Lab reference that brings it all home because I am dad, am I not, Stripes?
You're someone's dad. I'm sure. Maybe they're listening right now.
Oh my God! You didn't see that, right?
Oh my God! Oh, that was cute.
I'm so fucking mad.
I got what I asked for.
I'm so fucking mad.
Thank you.
I'm so fucking mad. I accidentally turned on my webcam for Stripes. Oh my God. Oh my God. What a solid piece of ass that was. Look, guys,
did you turn it back on? Oh,
no.
You're trying to share screens.
Yeah. Whatever. Oh. Guys, if I know you guys may have been upset about this list because of the, I don't know, something about me just, this list was something else, dude. This list was something else. Guys, I'm thinking about reading things from something called Pro Revenge. I'm very excited about reading things from a subreddit called Pro Revenge. But to make this list a little bit better.
Girl Revenge.
Yeah, the subreddit's called Pro Revenge, and I'm thinking about reading things from it. It's about people taking revenge on people, but it's good enough to be pro, you know? So yeah, I'm going to read a couple of things from there. In a TIFU style. What?
I kept hearing girl revenge, not pro revenge.
Hey, look at WTF, because I'm just looking at some WTF stuff right now. Yeah, it's like a pig baby.
I don't want anything to do with it.
And somebody leaves the caption when people are showing you their baby, you know. Look at my baby. Ain't that baby cute? Okay, that's enough. Hey, look. This one is captioned, Smegma bean that my daughter pulled out of the tip of a horse's penis. Oh. And she's holding it with her bare hands, too. Ugh.
You should ask Hannah about smegma.
He let out a huge sigh when she did it. Now, I don't know enough about smegma, and maybe people who are listening to this don't know it either. All we can do is hope that...
Wait, you don't know what smegma is?
Look, I'm just going to read it for the sake of people who may not know. Hope to God there's no pictures. Don't show us pictures. Good. Smegma is a sebaceous secretion in the folds of skin, especially under a man's foreskin. So smegma is what is affectionately known as dick cheese. Okay? And apparently, there was a bit of that cheese. Okay? Inside the horse's penis. A bean of that cheese, as they call it. A bean of cheese? I'm going to do it like, what's the name of that guy that was in, he was in Horizon Zero Dawn. And he's always talking like this. I want to be LeVar Burton. I want to be LeVar Burton. He was on Eric Andre. I want to be LeVar Burton. Who is that guy?
Hey, Kyle.
What? Lance Reddick.
Does Hannah have to clean horse dicks?
Oh my God. You asking me this kind of stuff? I don't know the answer to that question. Does Hannah have to clean horse dick? She owns a horse. It must be part of the job. Clean horse dick. Clean horse dick. I hope this isn't like a person dying. No, it would be not safe for work. Hole opens up in roadway after a bus drives over it. Oh my bing bong.
I think I tried to show you a Twitter that no, you've probably seen all the gifs there anyway. It's called Darwinism.
What? What about Darwinism? This computer has slowed to a crawl because I opened up one. Because I started sharing screens with you, and you know that Skype just fucking destroys the computer.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been less pressure if you just left your webcam on.
This is oh, this is that big ass chicken we saw. Remember the rooster? And it looked like a man in a rooster outfit at first. Fucking.
It's a really good fursuit.
Yeah, okay. The end of times. This is when all these bing bong ass birds were in the middle of the street. You see some shit like this in real life, would you freak out?
Well, yeah.
Because it's like the movie.
More reason
like
never
birds.
to leave the house.
What is this?
I don't know what that is. Is this some kind of shelter?
Oh my God, it's a fucking like detonating whistle where if you blow it, it would explode.
That's pretty neat.
That a fucking booby trap whistle. German device. This consisted of a policeman or referee's whistle with a charge and the metal ball covering the layer of friction compound. Covered with a layer of friction compound. Blowing the whistle moved the ball, igniting the friction compound and detonating the charge. Wow.
I guess it would mess you up to see your commanding officer's face just blow off.
Man pulls baby raccoon out of coat during fight.
Wait, did you want to use him like a weapon? The baby raccoon?
Yeah.
No.
Wouldn't that be like a crazy Anchorman fight? He pull out a baby raccoon. Yeah, I got the raccoon right here, baby. Y'all want to know what time it is?
Okay.
Somebody said, the old Canadian hand grenade. Somebody said I chuckled.
Who would
Somebody
fuck with
said
a man that carries around a raccoon, honestly?
okay.
Even babies can have rabies.
I don't know what the hell. Even babies can have rabies. Okay. Teacher wakes up a student.
I've seen this gif. Except it was backwards. So it looked like he was just lowering her head.
Oh my god. Is this okay? For like
No.
a teacher to put...
Are you kidding me? He probably got reported.
Ew. It's kind of creepy, huh? Is this okay? Let me know in the comment section below. Your kid goes to school, they fall asleep in class, you know? And you know it's gonna be some like story about how they were up all night studying or some bullshit, as opposed to up all night sucking them dicks and doing that heroin like they really living their life. Fuck it.
This man does not have a job anymore. And I'm not saying it's right for him to do this, and I'm not saying it's right for him to lose his job over it. But man, it's on video now.
The top comment is about a penguin. And you're right, the other one says the better version is in reverse.
Yeah.
God, I still remember back in high school, my physics teacher was super interesting. He was like a 50-year-old hippie who loves drifting off topic and starts on his weird personal stories, but I was usually too busy drifting into sleep from staying up playing video games the previous night to enjoy his stories. So this one day he was telling his stories and I was sleeping on my seat. He saw this and started to walk to my desk and ended up sitting on my desk while he went on about his story. At this point I was kinda awake, feeling that something was wrong. I realized that what was going on, but I was too embarrassed to open my eyes, so I kept pretending I was sleeping. Then in a volume only I could hear, he farted. You hear that, Stripes?
I've never heard teacher fart, no.
Do I need to sit on your desk so you can hear?
Don't.
Oh my god.
The only teacher I can remember was like a Civil War reenactor who was incredibly sexist, homophobic, and racist.
Somebody said grabbing a 15-year-old by the ponytail with your teeth. That's a firing.
That's what I'm saying. He probably doesn't have a job if it's on video, and it's on video. Even if he's just being kind of like... it's harmless. Honestly, it's harmless. But no one's gonna ever leave it like that.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it, Stripes. I wanted information about whether this guy was fired. That's what I wanted. Okay, let me type in man, teeth, hair, student. Let's see what comes up here.
You just want there to be a big kerfluffle. Why do you want
Woman's brain tumor turns out to be evil twin complete with I don't know.
What's that to do with anything?
Yep. Google failed me here. A secret urinal. What? This open chamber? That's funny. It really is a secret urinal in there. That's pretty funny.
That's kind of dirty.
Okay, snail eating a worm.
No.
Check it out, Stramps. I didn't know snails could eat anything. Snails have mouths to eat? But how's it gonna get it in there? Oh my god! Oh my god! You're telling me if snails were the size of cars, they'd eat people?
Not cars. Cows.
He's slurping it up like spaghetti. Oh my god! We didn't know. We didn't know. We didn't know. How come I've seen so many of these? Growing in a water meter box. What? Ooh. Ecstatic man celebrates his friend's bullseye dart. You fucking idiot. Ooh. You fucking idiot. Oh my god. Ugh.
I guess he had too much faith in his friend.
Extreme peeping.
Oh.
Well.
It's pretty good.
Lion loses some of his pride. Somebody go fall in? What's up?
Oh. Oh my god.
He believed in himself though. Like a real cat. No running start, nothing. Fucking hell. Oh.
What is that?
Oh, it's tar and feather victim. He's just been tarred and feathered. Dude, okay. He really does look like a fucking... Oh, man, that's scary as hell. That's not a real man, can it? Guy texting doesn't know he's walking straight at a bear. I'm gonna love this.
He just booked it.
What do you expect? Is that a bear? You Ooh. These bugs and worms. Oh my god. I feel like sometimes I look at bugs and worms and feel like it's gonna crawl through the picture and get me, man. Oh boy. Newly proposed skyscraper in New York City. Why, nigga? Why?
That's terrible.
Like a big dick. Why don't you make some balls out here? Buildings. Make some ball buildings. Building balls. Are you going by the New York penis? What?
I guess in itself, skyscrapers are some kind of dick-waving endeavor to begin with.
It says that a child was nearly crushed by a SUV. Oh, is the kid right here? Check this kid out. Oh my god! That kid barely got out of there with his Liz life. Are you kidding me? But who does get crushed? Because these ladies look like they eating it. Serve you right, shopping, you dumb bitches. I'm saying.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
kidding. There's nothing wrong with shopping. I'm sorry. What? Well, you're wowing at the kid?
No. The lady in the gray sweater just getting knocked around.
Yeah, she got it, dude. That car got neatly into that fucking joint too. It's as if nothing was there. This is insane. How does this shit happen? You feel me? How does this shit happen? Because look at them in the driver. They going slow as hell outside. You know what I'm talking about? What the fuck? And there's multiple people in the car too. If I can just get it to pause at the right moment here. We're going to be looking at some sort of bing bong right about a Shangri-La. You see the arm action right here? There's like a dude right there. You know what I mean? Weird. Rest in peace pole. Oh shit, it got struck by lightning. Damn. Alright, look, lightning's scary. What do you want? The assassin bug carries the carcasses of dead ants on its back to ward off enemies. That's like me wearing like a skull belt or something. Why?
Yeah, they're pretty much like samurais.
Ew! Forklift gas tank explosion. Forklift gas tank explosion. You think it's gonna be fine? That's it. Looks like that's fine. That's fine. It's easy to contain. You know, nobody dies. Going for a bike ride. Why do people do this shit?
Well, I think there's like secondhand adrenaline that comes into play.
Nah. People do this shit for the views because people want to see them die. Are these little froggies?
Oh, I think they're bugs.
They're frogs.
They're frogs. Wow.
Look how dumb they look. Look at some of these guys. Frogs are so stupid. And they look gross here. Fuck.
They look like bugs. They look like bugs.
Russian building demolition. Whee! What? Can you imagine if he got off and then it slid down into the spikes to impale himself? No, that's one.
Why would that be here? It wouldn't be here, Kyle.
Yeah, it would. It would just say not safe for work, or maybe somebody died, or maybe they just put it on watch people die.
I thought death wasn't allowed here anymore.
Man, you never know what they get away with on some of the monkey balls. Found some Asiago cheese in my mother's fridge. It expired in 2002.
That's some hazard suit kind of cheese.
That's just in there in case you want to kill people, dude. Let's see what the comments say in this bitch. Let's see what the comments say there. It's just like, one of these days, I'm gonna feed these niggas this cheese, man. One of these fucking days. Cheese doesn't go bad. It just turns into different cheese. If stored right, says some other guy. Somebody said he could probably cut the sides off and have some pretty dank stank cracker cheese. What the frick? Back in 2003, I was at my mom's house and I was in the cupboard and I found a box of shake and bake and I said, "Can I throw this out?" And she said, "What? Why? When does it expire?" "August 1984. What?
I don't think I've ever found ancient food in the pantry, but I guess it's because we eat everything.
Look, for 5-year-old cheese that looks surprisingly not rotten.
Yeah, it's not blue.
5-year-old.
I want to believe since they're close enough it doesn't stink all that much. Oh, what's that? It's a spider. Somebody said it's the most ridiculous way to catch a fish. He gonna put his foot in the water with the bait in there and then the fish gonna jump on up. What the hell? What the heck is that?
In the water and then
he puts it between his toes.
No, it jumped up on a dude's foot. The fish.
I get that, but what was it in between his toes? A shrimp
like
or
some
something?
Kind of shrimpy. What is this? Oh my god, it's a turd tongue.
Those are tongues.
It's a turd tongue. Stripes. Turd tongue.
You must have a pretty unreliable toilet.
Hippo deep throats. Is this a butt?
I think so, yeah. Wait, is it? That's not a tail.
It's gotta be a tail.
That's not a tail.
It's gotta be a tail. It's gotta be a tail because like there's no
Okay. Yes.
It's a tail. See? What are we waiting for?
I don't know. For it to crap in its mouth.
Oh, oh my god! Why did you have to say it?
I'm sorry.
We're ending the list. Can you imagine if that box just like opens? What's this guy gonna do?
It's like a Shark Tank.
This bear could open that box, I'm telling you. Look, man, for it to crap in its mouth. Thanks, Stripes.
You should turn your webcam back on.
You should shut the hell up. Thank you for watching this list.
I want more.
I love you to death. Special thanks to Lexeus for his ongoing efforts into you know, the continuing upkeep of this channel. You know, all I can do is hope that some of you guys are okay, because I wish that I could directly be involved in helping you. Just, you know, we all need some help sometimes, even if we don't admit it. And sometimes help is a distraction, sometimes it's a compliment, sometimes it's a joke. I did write a thing for you. It's that don't regret, don't forget thing, in case things get rough. But, you know, maybe I need to start a series to continuously bring people up. I really hope this podcast has given you something to listen to, and just a heartfelt I love you from Kahiel not watching any more hippo eat turd. You guys have a great evening, and I will definitely see you again soon with a list that has me on topic. Oh damn. Anything you want to say here, Stripes?
I guess I'm not the on topic kind of person anymore.
No, I mean just like to round out the list. Do you have anything to say? Like you want to say bye to somebody? You want to give a shout out? What do you want to do here?
I guess just apologize.
Well, Stripes apology. If you guys if you don't think it's sincere, let us know in the comment section. Love you. Talk to you later.